40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
Here we go then for round 2 of the Comp Safari Interclub Championship, and we are heading to a sunny Wales, would you believe? But as you could probably have guessed, it hadn't been sunny for that long. Heavy rain before the event was going to make the course tricky in places, challenging in others, and exciting to watch. Over the morning's runs, it would be the early lead for the winners at round 1. Kevin Stubbs and Ian Roberts. A puncture on the opening run would thankfully not cost the pair too much time, keeping them in the fight, allowing them to lead the way by 8 seconds at the end of the morning. For Mike Hannock, it would be second. The pace was good, still chasing that overall victory, of course. Always in the fight. The times were coming down as well as the runs went on, so things were looking good for a big push and a bit of a battle at the top. With a far smaller engine than the guys up ahead, it would be a big push for Warren Roper and Ken Andrews required if he wanted to keep on terms. The times were surprisingly close, just 2 seconds back from Hannock after 3 runs. And it would be a great start to the event for Stuart and Joshua Winter. They end the morning with 4th position. That is where their event would also come to an end, however, frustratingly breaking the steering on run 3 and not being able to continue into the afternoon. A gear selector bolt coming loose on the 3rd run of the day would see Peter Roberts and Anthony Brinkman around 30 seconds back on the times. Not the way that they'd wanted their morning to go, but with some quick repairs, they could head out back into the afternoon stages to try and push back up that leaderboard. It was all drama before the event even got underway. Contaminated fuel giving a bit of a worry for Richard Kesey and Henry Stubbs. They do manage to change things and get that car running properly before the start though, ending the morning with 6th place overall. And 12 seconds back from them on the leaderboard would be this man, Willie Stubbs. 7th place for him, mixing it with the top of our leaderboard on every run so far. Even at this point in the season, we're seeing new cars coming to the competition, and it was the first time out in that new car for Wyn Williams and Adrian Buller, designed and built by Peter Roberts. Things going well so far. It was taking some getting used to, but the times were improving as the morning went on. Ollie and Phil Booth would make a great start to their day with the lead in Class 8. No problems to report for the pair. They also lie in 9th place on the leaderboard. And rounding out the top 10 at this stage would be this man, Stephen Adams, a little way back from Booth, but still able to gain some time through the afternoon. So looking hopeful and looking to get in the mix. Of course, though, here on Special Stage, it's not all about the top 10, so let's take a look at some of the positions outside of that top 10 leaderboard. And it would be the Class 2 lead for Ian Giles and Tim Simon. Things going well for the pair, no issues to report, which is a rare report card on these events with the attrition and the challenge on the courses. For Alec Fern and Darren Tansley, it would be a great start to their day as well, leading the way in Class 3. A hub would break, though, on the way to the 4th run, meaning the pair were unable to continue into the afternoon. Meanwhile, things were going much more to plan this time around for Simon Cooper. 2nd place in Class 2 to prove it would be his for now. The car seemed to be running as it should, and long would that continue into the afternoon, or so he would be hoping. For Grant Mitchell-Smith, it would be 2nd in Class 3 over the morning's runs. The times were close, though, on the leaderboard, both overall and in the class. Just 10 seconds in it with Cooper at this stage. And indeed, it would be close for Rob Willits too, just a further 3 seconds back from Smith, lying 2nd in Class 8 at this stage too. This course really providing some drama today. Things were going well, meanwhile, for Sam and Tom Smith, the pair sharing the driving and the credit for leading the way in Class 7 at this stage in the event. A mixed morning, though, for Stephen Ham and Sue Maynard would see them leading the way in Class 4, but a broken gear linkage would be a bit of a worry for the pair. They do repair things in the good old-fashioned way of duct tape and cable ties to get through the course. That is one heck of a repair to rely on a part that really does do a lot of work out here on these events. Lewis Simon and Becca Skelly end the morning with second in Class 4. A good start for the pair, who were enjoying sliding their way around the course. What do we say? It's sunny here in Wales, but it hasn't been that way for long. There'd be a new co-driver to get used to for Nigel Alcock this weekend. Chloe Jones taking the place of mother Millie Jones. And of course, no stranger to the co-driver or driver's seat for that matter herself. They start the day well with some changes to the car, improving things dramatically. Third place in Class 4 for the pair for now. For Bill Hewitson, it would be the lead in Class 6. Just the two crews in this class, but leading the way there by a good, solid margin. There was frustration, though, for Paul and Kyle Shaw. It's fair to say the morning wasn't going their way, losing nearly 3 minutes with a snapped half shaft on the second run of the day. They do get a replacement from another competitor, though, continuing through the day and showing that this sport is all about that club competitor spirit. Some overheating problems will be holding back Tim Padfield and Loz Davies. They do get things fixed for run 4, though, and hopefully for a good push through the afternoon. This weekend would mark the first race back in the driving seat in 8 years for Joe Astbury. Rupert Astbury alongside Joe, having navigated for the last few years after having a stroke 4 years ago. But now it was time to take the wheel again, and things were going ever so well in this good news story. For Mark Allard, it will be second in Class 6, a little way off the class lead, but still pushing on to try and climb those overall results. Jake and Mark Burgess, meanwhile, were not confident at all that they would be able to get a good result here after walking the course and seeing the high speed of some of the sections. Their downfall, though, wouldn't be the speed, but the gearbox letting go and causing them to come to an end in the morning's runs slower than perhaps they expected. This would only be the second time out in 19 months for Simon Lee and Jonathan Wood. Experience was lacking, so the pair were a little rusty to start off with, as you'd expect. Their confidence in the car, though, growing run by run. Sadly, a broken gear linkage would give them a maximum on run 3, causing them to drop down the leaderboard. And it would be a new co-driver as well this weekend for Ken Powell. Drew Sparks sat alongside. Frustratingly for them, the electrical problems from the opening round seemed to be back. A trouble-filled day would see them not finishing with just 2 runs to go. So the morning run's complete. Here in Wales, the results at the top. Here at the second round of the championship are starting to unfold, and the leaderboard looks like this. On we go then to the second half of the day, and we see some attrition straight out of the blocks, losing David Wilson and Alex Corbett from the leaderboard, a puncture and a gear linkage problem on the first run, giving them a maximum. They would get the car sorted and out to play to catch up, but sadly on run 6 they hit a tree and damaged the front suspension too much to continue to the finish, despite that heroic effort to get the car back out after their initial problems. We'd also lose Peter Noonan. Engine problems on the first run cost him a maximum time. It would be fixed, but frustratingly, after another heroic effort in the service area, the issue would return for run 5, causing their retirement. Lewis Simon and Becca Skelly, as we saw earlier, had been on for a good, strong finish this weekend. Frustration here as well. A power steering failure in the last run of the day would cost them a second place in class, having to settle for 5th in the class at the end of the event. But at least they make the finish. Finally, we're on to some smiles. It would be a much better afternoon for Simon Lee and Jonathan Wood, but the damage had been done to the tyres with that gear linkage problem this morning. They end the event, though, with plenty to take away and try to improve on the car for next time out. Sadly for Sam and Tom Smith, things would come to a premature end as well when the engine on the car let go in the final run of the day, causing them to tumble down the results. No problems to report, though, for Steve Cobbold and Angela Partington. They take 6th in the class this weekend and add that to their round 1 tally of points to see them lying 4th in the standings after the opening 2 rounds of the season. There'd be no change to the Class 6 results though for Mark Allard. Second in Class 6 would be his this weekend. Puncture through the afternoon would cause Joe and Rupert Asprey to miss out on the podium in Class 4 by just a few seconds. But they had a good day out there on the course, taking fourth in the class and leaving the event happy that their pace was there for the rest of the season. Joe doing a remarkably good job behind the wheel. That would mean that it was a good end to the event for Tim Padfield and Loz Davies, winning their first trophy, overhauling the Aspreys to take that third place in the class this weekend. There's frustration though for Ollie and Phil Booth, a belt breaking on the car costing them a decent result. They'd had the pace and things had gone well up to that point, but for them it would be a 5th in class finish, 30th overall this weekend, and obviously ruining what could have been. After leading the class all morning, it would be the Class 6 victory for Bill Hewitson. He hangs on for a good end to the event here at round 2. It's a great finish as well for Nigel Alcock and Chloe Jones, second in Class 4. Those changes to the car working well and the pair only using 13 litres of diesel all weekend. No doubt saving the money for more improvements to the car, perhaps saving a couple of polar bears along the way as well. A puncture on the 5th run of the day would cost Daffyd and Sam Roberts a little time, but they do end the event with a 6th in Class 2 finish, with 26th on the overall leaderboard. And some time lost for Paul and Kyle Shaw through the afternoon after a couple of spins would see them end the event with 5th in Class 2. This event had certainly taken its toll on gear linkages, so remarkably, the earlier repairs would hold out enough for Stephen Ham and Sue Maynard to get them to the end of the event, taking the Class 4 victory in the process with 23rd overall. For Graham Ponton, it would be 2nd in Class 3 to end the event, 19th place on the leaderboard. And for Adam Bunting, it would be 17th, ending the event 2nd in Class 8 as well. It had been a good run through the morning, which would see Michael Basley and Tom Harris lying 3rd in that class. Losing that on the first of the afternoon runs though, meaning that the afternoon would be spent trying to get back on the class podium. A big fight ensued. They did eventually manage it, taking 3rd in Class 2 and winning their first well-deserved trophy. A frustrating last run puncture wasn't going to help the time for Dilwyn and Medwin Davies, missing out on the top 10, but taking a well-deserved 12th place this weekend. Class 1 victory would go to Grant Mitchell-Smith, a strong end to the event, also lying just outside the top 10 overall in 11th. Meanwhile, after such a strong start to the event, we lose Wyn Williams and Adrian Buller, the diff breaking just off the start line, putting an end to what had been so far a very strong run here in Wales. We're on to the top 10 then, and it would be Rob Willits rounding out those positions, taking victory in Class 8 as well this weekend from 10th. It was a good result as well for this man, Simon Cooper, 2nd in Class 2 this weekend, and ending the event with 9th place overall in that Volvo-powered car. A great finish for Ian Charles with new co-driver Tim Simon alongside this weekend, meaning the event had gone well for the pair, taking the Class 2 victory as well as 8th place on the leaderboard. And just ahead on the overall leaderboard would be this man, Stephen Adams, 7th in the popular and hotly contested Class 1 and 7th place overall. Just ahead in the class and overall results at the end of the event would be Willie Stubbs, another good finish for the Milner driver this weekend from 6th. Richard Kesey and Henry Stubbs would be suffering with overheating brakes through the afternoon runs though, locking on for much of the course, thankfully with enough power in the car to keep pushing through it to take 5th place. A smoking car is always a worry, particularly when you're as high up on the leaderboard as Peter Roberts and Anthony Brinkman were in the afternoon after their earlier problems. Thankfully, the problem was traced to a bit of leaking oil from a loose bolt and nothing more sinister, which meant 4th place overall for the pair by the end of the event. After such a good finish though and a big fight at the top of our results, there would be problems in the afternoon for Kevin Stubbs and Ian Roberts. A front shaft breaking causing the pair to complete the final run in rear-wheel drive only. And with the times so close at the top of this championship, that meant losing out on victory and having to settle for third place overall. Thankfully, they had a fastest time during the day to score an extra point in the championship. Bit of damage limitation well done. Despite this movement on the leaderboard, there'd be no change in the result for Mike Hannock, taking second place this weekend, and that victory having to wait once again. The pace out there meant it couldn't be far off, but for round 2, it would be the runner-up spot at the end of the event once again. So that means the victory this weekend would go to Warren Roper and Ken Andrews. A great end to the event for the pair and some good pace throughout the day. In the fight from the very first run on the course, they take victory by 18 seconds at the end of the grueling Welsh event here at round 2. So confirmation then of the leaderboard and the final results here at the end of the second round of the Comp Safari Inter-Club Championship.
Yeah, we've had a good weekend. Unfortunate for Kev, he broke a CV on the last lap, which sort of handed it to us, but that's what happened. Picked up a 15-second penalty on the last lap as well, so at one point we didn't think we'd actually won it, but no, we've had a good weekend. Yeah, really pleased.
Yeah, we've got all the runs in, no major problems. Just need to check the final times, but yeah, I think it's top 3 again. Still looking for the win, but great day, great weather, cars in one bit. Yeah, can't complain.
We had a punch on the first run, which delayed us a bit, but we got going when I think it was a good third or fourth run, so we got in front, and then we had a rerun on the last run, and then the drive shaft decided to go, so we've got down to third. But it's a good day, good points, so onwards and upwards.
Round 2 of the British Historic Rally Championship headed north as the crews set out to tackle one of the fastest and most notorious events on the calendar, the Pirelli Rally in the legendary Kielder Forest. Round 1 category winner Stanley Orr leads the Cat 2 crews away ahead of a brace of familiar faces who would all be getting those tyres onto the gravel to look to take that top step this weekend. On we go then to the morning stages here in Kielder, and it would be the lead for Stanley Orr and Graham Henderson once again. Things going well for the pair, no drama, but the times at the top were close. The fight was on. That lead, and indeed the closest challengers, would be over John Perrott and Andrew Sankey. They were just 4 seconds back from the lead at the midway point, and it would be all to play for through the afternoon. The gap back to third wouldn't be that big either, 10 seconds to be exact. Chris Skill and Tom Murphy ending the morning with that podium position looking good in the escort. Jeremy Easton and Mike Reynolds will be the first of our non-escorts on the results at this stage. The Datsun going well on these long, fast stages, that straight 6 singing. They lie in 6th place in the category and in the class. But Eason wouldn't be able to back off at all. Gary Smith and Phil Clark breathing down their necks. Just 2 seconds between the pair after this morning's 2 stages. Stuart and Linda Carris, meanwhile, make a good start to the rally with the lead in the C2 class, also taking 6th place in the category. They'd be fairly comfortable as well if you can be that in Killer Kielder. Almost a minute of a lead in that class at the moment. Bit of a buffer then. Philip Atkinson and Louise Gilks taking 2nd place there going into the midpoint in the rally. And there's just the one crew in Category 1 this weekend. Bob Bean and Malcolm Smithson bringing that Cortina out once again. The front corner of the car looking a little better this weekend after their little brush with the scenery last time out. 2 stages down then, 2 to go here on the Pirelli Rally. Do not underestimate those killer Kielder ditches or the fight that we have throughout the leaderboard. A great battle for those podium places particularly. Let's head to the afternoon stages then, the action continuing here in Kielder for the Pirelli Rally. And there would of course be no change in Category 1. Bob Bean and Malcolm Smithson doing exactly what they need to do. No issues, no dramas, just getting to the end of the rally to take those points. And indeed, no change in the C2 class in Category 2 either. Philip Atkinson and Louise Gilks continuing to hold that position to the finish. That, of course, means that it's the C2 class victory this time out for Stuart and Linda Carris. A great end to the rally for the pair here at the second round of the championship. There would be no holding off the fight for their fourth place for Jeremy Easton and Mike Reynolds, though. They slipped down the leaderboard through the afternoon, taking 5th place on the results. Still a good haul of points for the pair this weekend. That, of course, meant that this man, Gary Smith, was on the move. Phil Clark alongside, able to gain some time on the remaining stages, moving their way up to 4th place overall. A little way off that podium fight up ahead, but a good end to the rally. And on to those podium positions, and it would still be 3rd for Chris Gill and Tom Murphy. Staying in the mix though right through the afternoon, finishing just 14 seconds back from that 2nd place, keeping John Perrott and Andrew Sankey well within their sights. They, of course, were in that 2nd place, unable to match the times of our rally leaders, but that didn't mean that they let them get away with things too easily. They end the rally 2nd, just 22 seconds off that lead. So a well-used rear-view mirror then for Stanley Orr and Graham Henderson, but it does mean that it's victory today. Win number 2 in the category for Stanley, and the championship already looking good with just 2 rounds under their belts. Confirmation then of the final results here at the Pirelli Rally. That victory for Orr, keeping him in the lead of the championship, of course, going into round 3 in a few weeks' time, and we will see you there.
So Stanley, congratulations, fantastic result for you on the Pirelli. How did today go?
We had a bit of a mixed day, actually, as usual. Enjoyed it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, we had a good day. We're out in the new tyres, and a wee bit of work to be done there, but they've been very good, and well, I think we've won the category again, so can't ask for much more than that.
Bob, congratulations, we're here at the end of the 2019 Pirelli Rally and we've won Cat 1 again. How do you feel?
Yes, it's been very good. Enjoyed it. Cars run perfect. Well, you can't want for more, can you?
Stage is good?
Yes, very good. Yeah, just a shame that we didn't do the long one, but we enjoyed it, what we did.
Care 40 for Rateable Crest Titans.